question of expand constitutionalism, does Malaysia practice constitutionalism? The constitution or constitution of an organization or state describes the form of the structure or throne of the main activities of its nature and rules. It also describes how a king has power in making decisions to his government and distribute tasks equally. This emphasizes the authority of a king in carrying out his duties and rule as a set of rules and laws that determine the organization of government and the division of power between governing bodies. As we know, the Federal Constitution can guarantee the human rights and freedoms of the people and social justice for all races in our country. Our country is multiracial and cultural, causing a king to be fair in ruling and carrying out his duties in the Constitution fairly and equally. Here are some types of constitutions that exist in Malaysia. Constitutionalism gives recognition to the necessity for government, and in many modern governments, constitution is always present. It is based simply on the proposition that restraints are necessary to ensure that the power which is needed for effective governance is not abused by the people who are exercising that power.
My name is Imelda binti Muhammad Jafar, and I will be presenting on what constitutionalism that Malaysia practice. Constitutionalism means limited government or limitation on government. It is the antithesis of arbitrary powers. The constitutionalism recognizes the need for a government with powers, but at the same time insists that limitation be placed to guarantee that the authority required for effective government is not misused by those in positions of power. In Malaysia, the constitution is divided into two types: federal constitution and state constitution. Malaysia emphasizes a federal constitution, which is a written legal document that has been formed based on two previous documents, namely the Malayan Federation Agreement and the 1957 Independence Constitution. The federal constitution contains 13 sections relating to 183 articles. It is also the supreme law that determines fundamental freedoms, citizenships, federal government, federal legislation, and others. Among the provisions in the Malaysian federal constitutions are the states, religions, and the law of federation. Fundamental freedoms includes individual liberty. Slavery and forced labor are illegal in Malaysia. Speech, assembly, and association are all protected under law. Free exercise of religion, the right to an education, is one of the most important rights that a person may have, and property rights of the people are protected by the law.
Hello madam, my name is Manushariza binti Al-Mohsen, and I would like to present about why Malaysia practice the constitutionalism, which is fundamental freedoms. Why Malaysia practice the constitutionalism? For the fundamental freedoms. Personal freedom is that a present life or freedom cannot be stripped away unless the law allows it. If the imprisonment is unconstitutional, a case can be filed with the High Court, and unless he is being held illegally, the court can order his release. If the following requirements are not satisfied, a present offense must be disclosed while in custody. The offender should be permitted to discuss with his lawyer. A suspect must be carried before magistrate within 24 hours, and the above right and protection cannot be used if the offender is a state enemy, residence restriction, or immigration. Next, slavery and compulsory labor are forbidden since such activities are illegal and can result in criminal charge. Any type of forced work is prohibited, and legislature has the power to enact legislation to assist the country workforce. As a result, action carried out because completing judicially term of imprisonment are not deemed compulsory work.
Hello madam, I'm Moira Shahira. I will explain about citizenship. There can be obtained through legal operation as well as registration. However, registration for wife and children who are not from the homeland after independence is based on the approval of the federal government. The responsible party also decide to grant citizenship when they are married by a man of citizenship status and still remains until the country is declared independent. If a child under the age of 20 who is not of citizenship status is allowed to make an application to the federal government with the representative of his or her parents if he has not died. The registration is also only allowed if the child is born before the beginning of October 1962 and his parent must be certified as citizen status. As for citizenship for children, the status will be confirmed by the federal government itself. For those who are registered, they will be granted citizenship if born in the Federation before Independence Day and if certifies the federal government. The same applies to any person residing in Sabah and Sarawak on the day of Malaysia.
Hello Miss, my name is Noatira Binti Azman. I will discuss about system of government, constitutional, monarch, parliamentary, democracy, and the federal state. The essential foundation is the consensus with the king positions. The king serves as the head of state under the existing constitutions. Malaysia public power structure is divided into 13 state law-making organizations and a central government since it is a sovereign country with 13 states. Each state has a Raja, Sultan or Yang di-Pertuan Negeri who is the head of state. According to sections 58 of the Great Commissions, dispel the fact that the Yang di-Pertuan Besar will be the head of state. He should be seen as a safe ruler. He should refer back to the minister Pembesar in all circumstances, include boss power. He will be a symbol of public unity. The second concern decisions made by the king. A king choice is influenced by the state advancement and in many cases by the practices of the state. In the meanwhile, the Yang di-Pertuan Agong carefully named each Yang di-Pertuan Negeri, but the final decision should be made later in a meeting with the chief minister of the relevant state. For a long time, the Yang di-Pertuan Negeri was in charge. Nonetheless, Yang di-Pertuan Negeri may resign or be removed from office by the Yang Di-Pertuan Agong on the recommendation of the State Legislative Assembly and with the approval of around 66% of the total number of people present.
In conclusion, the constitution that we run must be stable to ensure the prosperity of the country is guaranteed and the people also feel safe with their choices. Like Australia, which many use a written constitution to launch their unity system referendum, this mechanism is described in section 1 to N. The constitution cannot be changed except in the manner they have set in constitutional system. Various management frameworks have been established which involve the jurisdiction of kings. The Malaysian constitution was conceived with a clear aim of dividing powers among the political entities of executive, legislature, judiciary, and the Malay rulers. However, in contemporary Malaysia now, there is increasing unease over the unconstrained expansion of executive power as well as strong distrust in the unbridled exercise of powers in the name of protecting public order and security. The Malaysian nation's ability to traverse the path of harmony and national advancement in a shrinking world will depend on the fidelity of its political leaders and its many peoples to the constitutional understandings embodied in the Merdeka Constitution, the constitutional principles of fairness, justice, and equality, as well as a common subscription to the fundamental importance of upholding the rule of law. After that, the federal government of Malaya announced on 1st February 1948 that for administrative structure, the administrative system is a systemic organization. It involved three main structures, namely the legislature, the executive body and executive policy, and the judiciary. These three agencies describe their respective jurisdictions, respectively as the head of state, DYMM Seri Paduka Baginda Yang Di-Pertuan Agong took action to protect the three agencies of administrative system.